Well, howdy ho, neighbors. Welcome back to the channel. This is Matthew Pizgatti. Diving straight back into the mix, Stake and Drip are doing a lot of good things that I like. I see a lot of things getting set up for the future that I'm excited for. But the most obvious thing that we could talk about real quick, if we're going to cover both of these projects, kind of look into what they're doing and what I'm about to do, which spoiler alert, I'm going to throw a little more money at Stake for now, and then I'm going to get back to Drip. But what are both of these things doing that excites me? Now, Drip, even though Drip has been on a bit of a decline for a while, we know a lot of the reasons for that. The farms mainly not getting unpaused. They've been paused for a little while. We're waiting for a full go live on that, and some other new exciting things that should be coming down the lane. One exciting thing that Drip is doing right now is the price maintenance, the price level maintenance that it's kind of running through right now. So even though we had this dip and then this nice pump all the way back up to around 12, I think it went higher than that on the native decks, is that even though it started to head back down again, it's really liking that kind of resistance level around the high 9s. Most of the time it's staying over 10, especially on the native, it looked like. So that's pretty impressive. And the reason it's impressive is if you go look at anything else in the market right now, Bitcoin, let's look at like Ethereum, is that the crypto's, I want to say, suffering. There's a bear market all around. We know we've got inflation, we've got all kinds of crazy things going on in the world that are driving prices up. Stocks and crypto are just not doing amazingly well. Look at this, huge drop on Ethereum just on the monthly view here. Look at that huge dip. We know BNB took one, everything else. So all in all, it's really not that surprising that Drip had continued to downtrend. This pump was surprising, and then the ability for it to hover still over, that high 9, 10 area, especially on the native decks, it's usually a little higher there, for so many days is pretty impressive. I keep checking the price bots in Telegram, and just in this bear market, that should give you some a little more confidence when you look at these other big name cryptos and then see what Drip's doing. It's got big whales behind it that don't seem to want to let it go much lower, at least for the moment. They're kind of holding that pattern. You can see there was a lot of buys right here. There were some right around there to keep it around this rate as well. So all of that's exciting. Drip does still have a lot of support, and Forex has been dropping some more hints in the chats and the telegrams recently that they finally kind of worked out what some of the games are going to be, some of the dogs games. Not only that, but I don't know if you saw this, and it may take me just a second to pull it up, but in like the BSC news, so there's actually this BSC.news. There was I don't know how many they post a day, so I don't know if I could easily find it. But there was a main article just the other day, not too long back, and Drip was prominently featured. So that's showing that it's still getting some notice, that it's not just falling by the wayside. They did kind of in an interview with Forex Shark, and that's pretty impressive. Oh, here it is right here. So that was just 2 days ago. Drip was Forex Shark did this interview here, and they were mentioning a number of things in here, but something that kind of caught our eye, those who were paying attention, is that he did mention some of the games like the scratch off and others, and then he did mention that one of the games is going to incorporate NFTs that you can only purchase with Drip. So he's also teasing his new games for Pigpen. And if you haven't seen any of those updates, he's been teasing some games around the pig pen and around dogs. And, not only that, but things that you actually will need Drip for specifically. So these are some of those, some of the items you'll only be able to purchase with Drip. You can see right there. So he's setting up these other use cases, these games, these gambles. We know how people love to gamble. They love scratch-offs. They love lottery tickets. When those go live, it really is going to be a big thing. I can't see how it's not going to be. And so, yeah, that's pretty impressive. And by the way, remember that BNB plays a big part of the native decks for Drip. So the fact that BNB had been having that big dip as well, the fact that Drip was still staying pretty up and hovering around that high 9s, 10 area is also really impressive to me. So a lot of cool things still coming down for DRIP. You know, the developers for this, they're not super speedy on their development. He's always trying to get things perfected and then get them out. Some of the admins there in the Telegram chat had even kind of hinted, like, look, just expect late July and let's plan for that. And you know, but when everything goes live, as I keep saying, so you know, that's when we're going to see a lot of these things take off. When those games go live, that is still incredibly exciting. And this is a long-term project. Obviously, no one likes to wait. No one likes to wait around forever and ever for things to launch. But when they do, I don't know. I still think this is like this huge buy-in opportunity, which is why I'm going to add a little bit more to stake right now as we speak, because I'm excited for it, because I didn't get in on this ground floor of DRIP, and I think we're going to see some similar activity, especially if it takes off. You know, it takes a little bit of time. Look, you know, DRIP, whenever it launched off, I don't know if this was the actual start or just when it got listed here on Dex Tools, but oh, here, it's loading more for me. Is that as far back I can go? Okay. So, yeah. So, whenever we launched around here, around July, and a little bit higher, you can see how it dipped down to around 6, 7, some of those points, 15, and it really hovered around there. I mean, look, this is the highest it hit was like 50, but so let's say between 50 all the way down to like 5.50 or $6. And even here, yeah, that was about 30. So between like 50 something and $6 from July all the way to December. So what is that? 4 or 5 months, and it kind of hovered along there before it took this huge upward mobility. So if stake does have some similarities, which we know it does, I went through that deep dive comprehensive video. You can go watch my video where I stepped through all the pages of the white paper. We talked about it, or my slightly shorter video where I did an overview of stake. Most of the main faucet, the core features, are very similar to stake. It has a little bit higher taxes, so if anything, that makes it more sustainable in the long run than DRIP if it gets as much user activity, if people love it as much. And it's not just a copycat. They did add some innovation with their nerd rebate system that can add up to that extra 2% that you don't get with DRIP, and you only get that 2% for around 100 days, 115 days, because if you're compounding constantly, that's going to go away unless you're getting more airdrops or you're referring people to your team or you're depositing more into the system. So that 2% is not indefinite. It doesn't go on and on and on forever. And so a lot of that makes stake possibly even more sustainable than DRIP has been this whole time. So that's really bullish for stake. We don't know if it'll get as much community engagement, but I think as the longer it goes on, the more sentiment and trust with the community will grow, and you could see something incredibly similar. We can't predict that, but I'm excited to see if it happens. And you can see we had this nice pump from around where it started. I got in some of those areas. I got in at like 5 and at 8, but I'm still going to buy a few more around this price point, I think, just because I want to add a few in to keep my nerd rate lower and keep getting that 2% for a longer amount of time. After this purchase, I'm probably going to swap back to loading up on some DRIP before any big takeoff. If these games do launch within the next month or so, I want to pile on a little more DRIP because I don't have a lot right now. So I was originally just going to throw a little bit more at the orbital swap farm or the Magic Finance farm because they have a DRIP BUSD farm on both. The Magic one, by the way, Magic.Finance, has a auto compounding DRIP farm. It's not a very big return, but it's not a huge amount per day, but it does auto compound and it would keep your DRIP liquid. So if you have some liquid DRIP that you're not sure what to do with and you want a little bit of a return, that Magic farm, by the way, is something new. You might check into it. I don't know a lot about their site, but it would make your DRIP work for you a little bit if you're not planning on putting it into the faucet just yet. So that's my spiel kind of on both these systems. I want to buy a little more of stake. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I have some BUSD I'm going to throw at it. And I'm going to throw, what else do I have? I'm going to throw some BUSD at it, and then I'm going to throw, I may have a little bit of DRIP. and I am going to add more drip probably this next week and then in the upcoming weeks as well, because we don't want to let that fall by the wayside at all. And I've had to do pretty high slippage on a lot of these transactions lately, so I'm just leaving my highest slippage and going at it. So let me grab some with that, and then let me add with the rest of my drip here. And I'm tired of these slippage things lately. I just set it to something crazy, and if I'm losing out, I'm losing out. Yeah, that one's just not doing well for me. It's not wanting to go through. I see that pretty often with a lot of these. And I increase the slippage. I try to adjust some of the rates, and it just isn't having it sometimes. Come on. Okay, well, that's not playing nice. So you know what we're going to do instead is I have enough to get a couple more stakes. So we're going to do that first, and then what I'm going to do is throw a couple airdrops your guys' way, because why not? So first, let me throw my 1.7 drip in, or stake in here. And yes, I could convert that drip into something else and then probably buy stake, but we'll do it this way because why not? And you can't see it, but I'm pulling up my spreadsheet in the background of stake. And let's see, this was about 2 stake that I bought around $12, so I'm just adding that to my spreadsheet so I can get a better average of my price per share, which I'm at around $6 something per share of stake that I've gotten so far. And again, you can see my little nerd gauge down here. I just deposited some more, which should help that. It actually dropped a little because it looks like, yeah, of course, I guess it compounds both of these automatically when you deposit. So I was around 96 or so. Compounding both of those dropped my nerd rate a little bit, but that is okay. So now while I'm here, let me go ahead and pick one of my new random community members on DRIP. I haven't done a lot of these. I'm still getting the hang of these airdrops, but I'm going to grab one of the couple newer ones in my team of 9 here, who also doesn't have a whole lot, so that's nice that we can drop that. So, boop. And I'm just approving that transaction here. And I'm going to take a nice little screenshot when that's done, just to drop it in my Telegram group. And then the extra drip, I will go ahead and slap into my faucet, because I'm already here on this page. I might as well. You have to have at least 1 to deposit, so we're doing that right now. That'll bring me up to over 23 in my faucet. I don't have a lot in there, but I'm stacking them up. Hope that we start ramping up not only teams referrals, but also that we ramp up what drip is actually worth, and then the price matters a little less. We're just going to start compounding more rapidly as time goes on. We'll be able to stack quicker and quicker, just like the garden. So both those things are exciting. But all right, that looks like it went through. So whoever that is, you got an extra drip for your faucet. I just bought a little more and tossed it in there, and then I threw a little bit in my stake. So that's my brief update. But yeah, definitely, you guys, look at the prices. Look at this market that we're in right now. Look how stake's doing. Look how drip is doing, and give that a think. Think about that, because they're both primed for all the new additions they want to make to both of their systems, which are both games, lotteries, things that are going to be pretty exciting. Maybe new UIs. We know that Stake still has some extra features to add, like this team viewer, so we can actually airdrop, like you just saw me do with Drip. So there's a lot of exciting things coming down the way that I'm pretty excited about. All right, well, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Again, join the Telegram group if you have any questions. My stake referrals in the description if you want to hop on the Pizgatti crew team with me on stake. If you're not already in DRIP or if you're about to start a new wallet and you're thinking about doing that, feel free to hop on my team. I do have enough DRIP now to actually be a team lead. And like you saw, I'm doing some airdrops. Not a lot. I don't have a huge bag hold here. A lot of my value comes from trying to keep you updated and create these videos. But I will start airdropping them. The more I have, the more I will pass on. So you can count on that. But yeah, I'll set you guys on the next video. Just keep on keeping on. Any questions, please drop them in comments or Telegram so that we can research those and answer them if I don't know offhand to answer. Oh, I didn't even see the flame price there. It was like $2 the other day. It's up to 6. I'd kind of mentioned that as stake goes up. By the way, it's that flame price is going to climb, just like BREAP did with DRIP. It should hit some. They kind of stay not neck and neck, but it raises alongside stake because the more valuable stake becomes, the more valuable it becomes to be a team leader, and so the more flame will actually be worth in the end. So don't neglect the flame because, especially trying to keep this nerd balance high enough to keep getting that extra 2%, you need flame to have a downline, to have a team built. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Again, stay safe out there, and I will catch you on the flip side.